What's up, guys?
They look like they get after the passer pretty well. What's that pressure look like to you? How do they do it?
They are very, in offensive line we say gap sound, but their rush lanes are sound, and that's what you can see right there. They do a good job of keeping their lanes, condensing the pocket with the two interior guys, and then working to, work the edges by the outside linebackers. So those guys do a good job of really working the tackles, outside edge, and then they try to, constrict the pocket with their interior guys.
Is it as good a pass rush as you've seen? Ohio State, I guess.
Yeah, they're good. They're really good. They're pretty good. 56 is really good. 41 is really good. 97 is taller than this building. He does a good job getting his hands up. He plays with his length real well. So we got our hands full with these guys.
This may be an odd question. How do guys communicate in the midst of 80,000 fans screaming and all that, and be able to do it effectively? Because in high school there might be 3,000 fans. Everybody can kind of hear everybody. How has it changed for an offensive lineman once they get to college to be able to sort of identify and then talk before the snap and during the play effectively? How do you teach it?
Well, before the snap communication, there's a routine. We stress routine. One guy talks first, usually the center. And then from there, everybody has their responsibility of making calls. And then from there, any information that we've gathered via film or even during the game, those guys should be communicating their tails off. So that they can help the man to the right and to the left of them, and expect and essentially work the play, if you will. Within the play, not a whole bunch of communication. It's more of a feel deal, and that's why you practice. You try to, the thing that sticks out in my mind is like communicating stunts in games and protection. Those have to be done, and they have to be. As a matter of fact, we just finished a drill where we were working, games. A lot of that communication comes by touch, by physical touch, by what we call bumping. That's a bump of communication. It's not verbal. It's more, physical presence and body presence. So there's an art to it. And the biggest thing I can impress upon you is if you stick to a routine, and which we stress with our guys, the guys know, right, in their minds what's supposed to happen next, and who's supposed to be communicating whatever it is we're trying to communicate.
How do they do against Indiana and Purdue with that?
They did a pretty good job of communicating. There was a couple plays where we did not communicate well, and it was due to them stemming fronts. Those are a little bit tougher. Especially if you have a young guy at the center position he has to communicate that. Sometimes you have to let it play out, and block it as if you had called it prior to the step. So those things are the things that are tougher, or more tough.
We haven't asked you about Juergen's snap issues in a while, which leads me to believe they're under control. Would you say?
Nothing's under control.
Nothing's
under control. Yeah, it's better. He's been more consistent. The moment you don't focus on that, the moment you kind of consider that, we're over that. I'm sorry. Then they come back to bite you in the ass, right? So we're on his butt every day. Even today we were on him. Because I want it perfect. We want it perfect, so that the quarterback can expect that ball to be exactly where it's supposed to be, so he can get through his reads, he can get through his run reads, he can get through his pass progression, and feel comfortable back there in the pocket.
But it has gotten better.
It's gotten better. It's gotten more consistent where we want it to be.
Hey, I know you've said in the past, recruiting-wise, last year you went offensive tackle heavy because you needed to, numbers-wise. Do you feel like you're getting closer to the right balance of guys in your room, position-wise, or how does that kind of stand right now?
Yeah, I think, with the recruiting classes that we've had since we've arrived here, I think this class that we just signed was a tackle-heavy class, and those guys are progressing, and they're doing a pretty good job. The guys that we have committed now, can fill many different roles, you know, along the offensive line. Kind of anxious to see what those guys, when they get in the program, you know, how this thing's going to shake out. But we're getting some length, and we've stressed length in our recruiting classes, as you can see. Maybe with the exception of Will Farniak, everybody's been at 6'5" and above, right? You know, so we're addressing that. And then, you know, ability-wise, you always want guys that can play multiple positions. And, you know, all of those guys have trained, you know, with the exception of a couple, they've trained at guard and tackle, or center and guard.
Sure.
You know, so we want them to have that dual role, that dual responsibility. It helps them learn the scheme better, but then it also allows you to plug and play in the best 5 guys or the best line that you can put out there, given, you know, the situation. So, you know, we're excited about all the guys that we're recruiting. We don't have them slotted in as guard, tackle. We kind of fit them in the program and then kind of figure out where the program is in terms of the bodies that we have currently, and then the new bodies that are coming in, where we can fill those guys and allow those guys to grow in the system at the fastest rate.
Did Piper and Banks moving over to your side, does that change things for the class that you're currently recruiting, or did that?
Yes and no. Those guys actually, you know, Banks actually moved over, and we had already had, you know, we already had Turner, and I think we had Alex, both already committed, you know, when Banks even moved over. So Piper, it's funny because Piper was recruited as an offensive lineman for a long time, then he got switched to D-line, and he came back to us. So, but no, he's doing well in his role as well, you know. So it doesn't change too much of anything, you know. We're trying to get the best, most talented guys in our program, and then figure out where their best position is.
Get back to that Wisconsin pass rush. How do you think you guys have held up in pass protection, generally speaking?
As of recent, you know, they've been better. You know, there's certain plays that we want back from Minnesota, you know, especially with the interior guys. But, you know, overall, especially with our tackles done a pretty good job. And, you know, those are the things that we're stressing. It's communication. You know, it's knowing where the guy to the right, to the left is going to be. It's help when we're getting a 4-on-5. You know, 4 D linemen on 5-man protection. You know, five offensive linemen. There should be a hands-free guard or center inside. We should be, you know, being physical with a double team. You know, these are the things fundamentally that we're teaching on a day-to-day basis. You know, they didn't just stop when we started playing South Alabama. You know, we stress fundamentals, and you know, I like to believe that as the season has progressed, our pass protection overall has gotten better, and it's just stressing fundamentals and, you know, spatial awareness.
Has their pass rush got better from what you saw out of them last year?
Yes, it has. I think 56 is a better player than he was last year. Not, you know, ridiculously better, but, you know, he was active last year too. Don't get me wrong. I don't want to take away from the kid's game, but, you know, you can see he jumps off the field now. You know, he jumps off the field even more than last year. You know, and like I said, they're in their lanes. You know, they know their lanes. They know their moves. You know, and you know, they go to their moves. You know, so we have to, you know, beat what they're really good at. You know, this is a freaking blue collar operation. They're just going to come in and they're going to work their program, work their system. They know their system like the back of their hand. And, you know, what you see is what you get, and they do it really well.
Get back to Juergens. You know, when you were coaching him, did you have to take into account his relative lack of experience at that position? Did you coach him a little different than you might some guys?
No, you don't coach him different. I mean, your coaching style is how you coach him. But you got to understand where the kid is coming from and where he's starting from. You got to understand the starting point.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah. But you don't coach him any different. You know. Now, do you understand the starting point, and do you teach him? You know, because that's the other thing. With Cam, I've had to explain the why about a lot of things. Why? Because he has never, or because of his lack of knowledge in that position. There's a lot of why. All right, here's why you have to do it. Guys don't really fully understand what they're doing until they understand the why. Like, why do I have to do this? Why do I have to put my hand here? Why do I have to step here? Why do I have to do my eyes here? And then when they understand the why, and sometimes, you know, failure is a big part of it. it's a huge part of it. You know, even with Cam, he has to fail on something. The same things that beat him in the Indiana game didn't beat him in the Purdue game. You know, he's a kid that's going to learn from his mistakes. You know, sometimes we call growing pains. You know, but he's going to make a mistake and then got to learn from it. So that's what you love about the kid, is that he's always looking to get better and he's always trying to improve his game. He wants to be coached. You know, all our kids want to be coached. Golly, all of our kids want to be coached. It's awesome. So that's the beauty, and you know, even the way the season's going, guys want to be coached. Guys come in to the building with this optimistic attitude. You know, this desire to excel. You know, so.
Okay.